Super Bowl champions.
EATLES!
Yo! What's up, boys?
What is going on?
What's going on?
Living the dream, drunk on broad, back again, drunk on the birds with Don, Big Joe. I'm Rich. Let's get cracking, boys. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
This is Rich, believe it or not, Rich, this is episode 67.
Holy shit.
So,
Holy
we're I think by January we might be pushing the hunt. We might have to have our
anniversary
centennial episode. Maybe that's an Eagles playoff game.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Fucking awesome.
And maybe it'll be like Jalen Hurts coming in from like an MVP performance during the regular season. So we have something to amp us up. A.J. Brown coming off like 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. A boy can dream, boys. Dream. That's all I want.
Hey, listen, with the offseason moves, I got an invite yesterday to go on to one of the Belly Up networks to talk Eagles offseason. Had a fun time with the podcast called Santa Booed First, which was pretty fun. And then another guy who's got Philly Jim, who's got a YouTube channel, but that was fun. Kind of got me excited about all the off-season stuff that had happened. But we're going to shift our focus a little bit, and we're going to look around the NFC East,
okay,
and see kind of where those teams kind of line up in conjunction, because I think we would all agree the offseason that the Eagles had puts them in the driver's seat to really take this division.
I like it. Sorry, I was reading the comment. I was reading Chris's comment. I'm like, I have no idea there's a new movie called Hustle. Oh, I guess that's the Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah, man.
I get sidetracked so easy, and I'm just like, And Don, I missed everything you said, but I guarantee it was great. I guarantee it was awesome.
Well, Rich, you're gonna have to listen back to the first couple minutes after I posted.
I'm like, oh, that's what Don said. Okay, it makes sense now. All right.
So Hustle is the new Adam Sandler movie with where Adam Sandler is kind of like a down on his luck scout working for the Sixers. So it's all set in Philadelphia. Okay. The Sixers are like front and center and all the. That's
awesome. I know they're in the movie, so that's going to be pretty
it's
awesome.
Pretty cool. I watched probably like the first half hour of it this morning.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Is it on? It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix right now. Yeah. It dropped today.
All right, cool. I'll have to check it out.
So, Eagles offseason, just before we get into, I think we can all agree that the offseason sets up very well for them to be kind of right in that driver's seat to contend for the winner, the top of this division.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
oh yeah, no, I was listening, Don. I thought that was I thought you were going on. I was like, yeah, it says I'm dressing. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, go on, Don. Go on. Elaborate your thoughts, please. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean, I got my little cheat sheet here. I went around the league and I went team to team, and of course, because I'm a Philadelphia fan, I left a whole big section for my Philadelphia Eagles, and thank God that I did, because there's a lot, and you don't realize how much there is until you put it on paper. It's a couple. We did lose a couple guys, but we gained way more than we lost.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think the biggest one was A.J. Brown. Obviously, A.J. Brown, baby. We're sitting there, we're waiting, we're seeing what they're gonna do. Okay, they move up, and they take Davis, and then we're like, okay, there's really no receivers left.
No,
I don't want him to draft anybody that's left because I'm not feeling great about him. And then, bam, Howie strikes.
And that was probably the most surprising and best thing to happen, because, as I said on previous episodes, I was super upset over the not having Hamilton, but I'll take Davis because he's going to be hopefully a perennial all-star or perennial Pro Bowler, AJ Brown, dude. That got me so hyped when I'm sitting there and my boy Nick goes, yeah, my brother texts me, Eagles just traded for AJ Brown. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And then it pops up and I'm like, everything was cured. It's like Dono says, right when they think they lost you, they bring you right back in. And, you know, I don't like giving the Weasel credit, but I have to give him credit.
Yeah.
He put together a great draft. He did the smart thing. And I'm a huge fan of what the Rams are doing within their organization by trading those picks for those guys who are proven talent. AJ Brown is proven talent. AJ Brown was a over 1,000-yard wide receiver, I believe, 2 years in a row, 4 to 6 touchdowns both years, probably over that, in a run-first offense with a non-dynamic QB who really has zero intangibles compared to Jalen Hurts. Better arm strength, yes. That's pretty much all that Tannehill really had to offer. But if you see A.J. Brown coming across the middle for a slant, you know that he catches that ball and he has a yard of separation. He could take that 75 yards to the crib. That's something we haven't had since Terrell Owens. Similar body type, similar type player. T.O. is a Hall of Famer, fucking amazing wide receiver. Can A.J. Brown get there? Can A.J. Brown be our Terrell Owens of the next 5 years? I fucking hope so. Because I am so amped to have the Slim Reaper, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert. Like, that's 3 weapons you have to account for.
Like that, and that's the thing. Like, you look at their offense.
So dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot double anybody. Because if you double anybody, someone is going to be open. If you put a corner and a safety on top of Brown and Smith, right now Goddard's going to be open in the flat because he's going to beat any linebacker out in the flat. Or now you get Miles Sanders or you get Kenny Gainwell and you get them in space.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I love about the A.J. Brown move the most is that it pushes Jalen Reagor further away from any relevant time on the field.
Who? Who?
Exactly.
I hope we never hear his name. But Don, like you said it, and then this goes right into our point where we can just dive into the NFC East predictions and all seasons. Who is going to cover on the Cowboys, the Redskins, or the Giants when you're tasked to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and Miles Sanders or Boston Scott coming out of the backfield in the flat? What defense do you see that is going to be able to stop these guys? Because Dallas did nothing but lose defensive players. Mm-hmm. Like, thank God that psychopath DeMarcus Lawrence is gone because he was giving us a lot of problems. And I'm very excited that he said, you know what, F Dallas, I'm out too. Go Denver. All right, see you later, because they have no secondary.
Right.
Is Ronald Darby, a.k.a. Burnt Toast, and that overrated Redskins defense going to be able to stop our wide receivers, our tight end, our running backs? The Giants, a completely revamped team, new head coach. I like Dabble. Their defense is going to look a lot different. They're missing Bradbury, who had a historically bad year last year, but is now on the Birds and is going to be a fucking stud because that's what he does. For us, not for the Giants. Because who wants to play for that bullshit organization anyway? Like, I'm not giving you 110%. Organization sucks. You think Danny Jones is your fucking franchise quarterback? You're a moron. I can look through that globe and say, you're not going to win.
I honestly think with that, like with the Giants, and we can start with the Giants because I think they signed Tyrod Taylor as one of their offseason moves. I think there's going to be a time where they're just going to – I think he starts more than half the games.
Yeah, because Daniel Jones sucks.
Because he's that bad. So, I mean, when we talk about the Giants and we talk about their offseason moves, like they
had a great draft.
They did.
The draft class is impressive. They get Kayvon Thibodeau at 5. They get Evan Neal at 7, and then they draft Wan'Dale Robinson. They drafted a ton of dudes, and hate to say it, but like they had an impressive top half of the draft.
They still have the highest paid wide receiving room that is underperformed. Like Kenny
Correct.
Golladay, Babytron is like baby gone. Like dude stinks. Like
did he even have a touchdown last year?
No, he didn't have. He was
He
one of the
didn't even have
highest.
one touchdown.
I think he was the highest paid wide receiver last year,
Right.
and did not have a touchdown.
Right.
Kadarius Toney, their first round pick,
Bust.
did not have a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any of their wide receivers. I think I don't think. What is it? Maybe one. I think they had one touchdown or zero out of their wide receivers last year.
I think it was zero.
Slayton or
I have to
Shepard?
go back and double check, but I think it was
No,
zero.
because Shepard got knocked out.
Maybe Slayton, Darius Slayton.
I don't know. I think it was a weird stat that it was the Giants
Talk amongst
had
yourselves, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you do that. Thank you, Don. Thank you for being a great statistician and actually on the ball.
Hey, listen, this is not a stat pod. If you're coming here for stats, you're in the wrong spot.
We don't have it, and I have a Chromebook. So if I had to do something, I guarantee my computer shuts down.
I also have a Chromebook.
Yeah, so you should see. It's great when I get Zoom invites and I have to do it on my phone. People are like, "Well, why are you doing the Zoom invite on your phone?" I'm like, "I have a Chromebook," and they look at me like a poor. And they're like, "Oh, can't afford an HP, this loser." And I'm like, "It's a Lenovo." Like, it's my bad. But no, how you have to look at like the Giants? Yes, they had that great few round drafts, but that team is still a bad team. Yes, you can revamp it. You could take the coach, and you could try to mold them and fit them. But Daniel Jones is what Daniel Jones is. That guy is a turnover machine. That guy is not going to be able to thread the needle when he has to. And Kenny Golladay and Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney are great on paper. They're awesome names that you want to see. But in actuality, they're really not that good. So, Joe, what are you thinking of this revamped Giants team?
Yeah, I mean, they're like the paper they're the paper warriors, so to say. It's what they did in the draft with the offensive lineman and Thibodeau was huge. But it's obviously it comes down to playing the games, how they play as a team, and who your general is on the offense, and that's Daniel Jones. And it's he hasn't meeting the expectation. He hasn't shown. He hasn't even shown Giant. I don't even think they like him in New York. He hasn't shown anything where
he's the second favorite New York quarterback. People like Zach Wilson better, and I think Zach Wilson is equally as terrible.
Yeah, but I think with the comparison of Wilson and Jones, I think Wilson's got a much bigger upside. They reached for Jones when the Giants took Jones. That was a big time reach.
Yeah.
You can have T.O. out there playing every wide receiver position, but if the quarterback can't get on the ball, it doesn't matter. He's not cerebral. He makes stupid decisions, and it seems like it's only a matter of time before he self-combusts.
Yeah, and you sign a capable backup in Tyrod, who let's look at what he was doing. If he didn't get his lung punctured by the San Diego doctor, he would have still been their starter. But look what happened there. Open the door for Herbert. Okay, he leaves, he goes. He starts off hot with Houston. They weren't winning games, but he looked like a capable starting quarterback. Yeah. Unfortunately, like Tyrod, this is what happens. He gets hurt. Davis Mills looks good. They don't need him anymore. Okay. Then you sign him over in New York. He fits that offense. He can throw. He's not Daniel Jones-esque stupid. Tyrod is a smarter quarterback who is not going to force the ball into tight spots and will tuck the ball and run, but he's not going to trip himself after an 80-yard run. Like, he'll actually make it to the end zone. You look at the intangibles and you kind of look at Tyrod and Daniel Jones. They're almost similar. It's just Tyrod has a brain, and that's how I look at it. And I think that's what's scary, because I think the Giants are going to realize after they start, say, 0-4 or 1-5, they're going to look, okay, we put Tyrod in. That might actually add some life and some spark until they can find that next piece, because I don't think they're going to be that good. So I do think they're going to be in contention next year for one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, which is a better quarterback draft. That kind of scares me because then it's kind of everything fell into place.
Especially with Dable being there.
Exactly. So that means you have the offensive weapons. You have that rebuild offensive line. You have that good defensive line. They get a secondary, but then they get a rookie quarterback who is actually a gunslinger and a dude who can play. That scares me for the future. But for next year, the Giants are literally sweat off my nuts. I don't even think about it.
So just to circle back, so Darius Slayton last year had 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Dante Pettis had 1, and John Ross had 1, and Sterling Shepard had 1.
Okay, so their highest paid wide receiver had none, and then their rookie sensation, their next Tyreek Hill, also had 0.
Had 0.
So you have to dip down to your number 3, your 4, your 7, and your 9.
Right.
Yeah.
And
On your depth chart, they call touchdowns.
Your leading pass catcher for touchdowns was your tight end, Evan Ingram.
Who's gone?
Right. Yeah. Who's gone now? And Saquon Barkley had 2.
Right.
That's pathetic.
Before you got to Darius Slayton, who was leading your wide receiver room with 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely pathetic.
Terrible.
Absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, and then you got Saquon Barkley, world-class talent.
Yep.
I mean, he's the man. He's a beast, but he still hasn't looked the same since that injury.
No, not at all. Not at all. And
that's all I got for those guys.
For what it's worth, I mean, he and Devontae Booker had the same amount of yards last year.
Yeah, well, Saquon was hurt for a majority of it, had that ankle thing. So Devontae Booker looked actually a little more explosive than Saquon did. But, Saquon, that offensive line was terrible. So Saquon was – it's so funny when NFL teams figure teams out and they go, well, this offensive line sucks. We stack the box. Saquon will have no room to run. I don't give a shit how big his quads are. You're not running through 7 guys when the offensive line is pushed back into you. It's physics, Don. You know science. It's physics.
Hey,
I got you in that department.
Yeah. So the physics tells me 8 guys pushing 5 guys back into you. That's 13, and against 1. Yeah, that's not good odds, Don. It's not good odds.
Hey, listen, the force equals mass times acceleration problem on that equation.
Ding.
It is always going to be. It's going to be an imbalanced force. So.
Can we do a science podcast next? Drunk on science would be fucking dope. Drunk on dinosaurs? Dude, I'm in. Joe, I'm signing me up Monday nights. Drunk on dinosaurs with Don, Kip, Ollie, Rich, and Joe. And it's just going to be our sons just talking the most crazy shit about dinosaurs, and we have to act like we know what they're talking about because I guarantee the dinosaurs they're naming are wrong, but we're just going to act like they're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably get kicked out of the house if I told my wife that. So. Please don't tell me you're wasting your time doing that.
You're doing Drunk on Dinosaurs? She's like, I'm interested. Tuning in.
Oh,
whole new demographics, Don. We can corner the 3 to 12 market with Drunk on Dinosaurs.
Oh my God.
But we don't drink. We just drink apple juice and we don't curse.
That's right.
It's a win. Sign us up, Belly Up.
Everybody behave yourselves.
The Belly Up Kids Network. We're in. It's the next Blippy. Now you're encouraging both of them. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm sorry. Sorry, boss lady. That's what we have to do.
Oh, good.
But let's move on to Washington. So let's because Chris brought up a great question.
I gotta go back to it.
I can't see it. Don will get back to it. And
Adam
Adam says, is Jones better than Carson? But Chris had a point, something about it's up there. How do you think Carson Wentz is going to do? One, I'm going to start because I want to. Carson Wentz is going to stink because that's what Carson Wentz does. That's it. That's all I got. Joe, you go next.
Wow. How do you
Pretty simple. He's going to stink.
He had that year with us, and I'll never knock him for that. He put us in an incredible position to win that season. That being said,
his outlier year, Joe.
Here's the outlier here. ever since then, he's fast forward a couple of years, he's on his third team. He went to the Colts, and
they hated him.
And yeah, he went to his dream to go play with his dream coach,
and they
fucking so much the Super Bowl year, and they were like, "Nah, we're good. One and done. You know, his stats were good, but he's not. He's an average quarterback if you look at his win total, and big time moments, he's completely invisible.
What was it? 2 picks and a fumble in a row?
Yeah, they needed to win that last game against Jacksonville last year.
2 picks,
and he shit the bed.
Yeah, and all he had to do was turn around and hand it off to the best running back in professional football.
Yeah, why not?
Joe, Don, and myself would be a great quarterback if all we had to do was, hey, yo, JT, you want to take this to the crib? All right, Salem boy.
That's the only reason they won 9 games.
Right.
Yes, it was him. It wasn't Carson. There was nothing of Carson's play last year in Indianapolis that showed me that, okay, if they get to the playoffs and he has to have a comeback drive, or if they're down early and they can't lean on Jonathan Taylor, there was nothing that he showed me all year that he could do that. Fast forward to this year, you put him on a Washington team with I would say an upgraded
receiving core.
No, not even, because Curtis Samuel's always hurt. I was trying to say like an upgraded something.
But they got Jahan Dotson.
They got Jahan Dotson.
And you have Scary Terry, but
their running game is atrocious. Antonio Gibson was not efficient last year,
and their offensive line isn't the greatest.
No, and he doesn't like throwing to running backs.
Right. Carson's going to do what Carson wants to do, and that's fuck shit up.
That's pretty. Well, that's the best thing that was said tonight. Amen.
With the less efficient weapons than he had last year, the downgraded offensive line, a young receiving core, he seems like I really feel like you're going to get like that hero ball, right? The season, his last season with the Eagles, where he felt like he had to do everything, had to make throws, I feel like you're going to see a lot of that.
Don, let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you a question.
No,
you're teaching kids, Don, right? And you're teaching them quantum physics for about 3 weeks in a row, and all your kids are failing, and they have zero understanding of it. Are you going to the next week teach them more quantum physics, or are you going to look in the mirror and reevaluate what you're doing?
We're not doing quantum physics.
Exactly. So why can't Carson Wentz look in the fucking mirror and say, hey, this gunslinger shit doesn't work. Let me fix it. Instead, he's so stuck on wanting to be the guy and being the head honcho that everybody, like Adam says, he's a cancer in the locker room. People hate his style of play. People hate him for who he is. Yeah, that is a tough pill to swallow when no one wants you on their organization, regardless of the skill set and the talent that you have. That says so much more than it is for a guy like, I don't know, give me a good locker room guy and I'll take him. That's like Ryan Fitzpatrick because he just retired. People would rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick start at 40 years old than have Carson Wentz start on their team. That's insane to me.
It's true.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
You know, they interviewed, we signed Zach Pascal, which, decent move. Good veteran.
Great story.
They interviewed him on him playing with Carson and what he thought about that. And he said, down the line, would you ever want to play with him again? And he was like, I'm good.
I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
It's all right.
I think the him getting injured and then watching the rest of the season and watching how successful they were and him being so butthurt that he wasn't the guy that was doing it. I really don't think like he ever recovered from that mentally. Like that's still messes with him. And the fact that, like, now that he's now on his third team in 3 seasons, that and he's still not reevaluating his approach to the game. Like you hear him talk in all the Washington offseason stuff. He's still talking the same stuff that he was talking when he was here, when he was in Indy. Like
he doesn't get it.
He's chasing that high from 2017 that he's never going to achieve again because he's chasing something that is unobtainable right now in his career and where, like you said, and where he is mentally. It's just he's not able to do that. And now you send him down to a Washington team that seems like if you read, as Big T will like say, you look in the tea leaves, right? You look how their defense performed last year. They got a lot of down south Southern boys on that defense. They got a lot of guys who grew up in the bayous in Florida who, regardless of the whole COVID situation, after everything was said by Ron Rivera, like, hey, like, I'm your leader, I have cancer, like I brought in all these specialists to talk to you about this vaccination, and half these guys were like, well, I don't fucking know that. Then you've seen how the team kind of responded to their leader, how they were kind of like, okay, well, we don't really trust this guy because we don't trust this. There's a lot of uncertainty within that organization from the top down, which speaks for itself on the playing field. That defense should not have been in the bottom 20s last year. They should have been a top 7 defense with the caliber players that they have, but they did not respond well to whatever was going on inside that organization and behind closed doors. Then you insert a guy like Carson Wentz into that. That is adding flames to a powder keg. Yeah. That shit is going to blow up quicker than fucking Mount Vesuvius. Like, it's going to implode. That's what's going to happen here.
Well, look at who's the head of this venomous snake?
A rapist. Fucking Daniel Snyder.
You have Daniel Snyder and his dumpster fire. You have and then you got a quarterback in Carson Wentz who just he's a lost individual because he can't change his game. He can't change his mentality. And it's like Don was saying, the hero ball. He's played hero ball his whole career. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to adjust and fit the system that's around you and trust your teammates and trust your players. They might not be. You have to, look at the Phillies. Girardi couldn't adapt with his play. He couldn't connect with his players, or he didn't want to. If you want to be a locker room guy and you want to be the captain and you want to lead these guys into battle, you've got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz can't do that.
Agreed.
It's
go ahead, Don. I talk.
No, listen, like he's a guy like Indy. He had it made in Indy. Like, you look at all those weapons that they had. He literally just had to go in and be the game manager.
That's it. He had to be Alex Smith.
Right. And Rich, look no further than the guy that they brought in to replace him. Right. They brought in Matt Ryan.
This is the best offensive line Matt Ryan has ever had.
And Rich,
I'm excited for Matt Ryan. I'm happy for the guy.
Like, he's finally going to play with a solid guys at skill positions, be able to hand the ball off to Taylor and stand behind a solid offensive line and have the time to distribute the ball. But Matt Ryan knows that that's all he's got to do. He's not going to go out there and try to throw a touchdown on every single play.
Yep. How great is it? How great is it that Nick Foles is the backup there?
He's like, I'll follow wherever Carson just was because that's what I do. Another stink pot. Like, thanks for what you did, but God,
yeah.
He is so, like, literally, Jesus came down and touched his shoulder and said, you are going to be the man.
This is your time.
This is your time. Yeah. And then immediately afterward, Jesus slapped him in the back of the head and was like, "That's it, bro.
You suck."
He's like, "What?
You suck.
What? Oh God, damn it!
Sorry, buddy. It's over.
Sorry, bud. I got to take it from you." And it makes me laugh. But on just the comment, just real quick about the Matt Ryan thing, I believe if Matt Ryan stayed on the Falcons, he would have retired after the season just because of all the punishment that he would have taken because of that offensive line. Look at the quarterbacks with the longest careers. Look at Tom Brady and why he can still do it. This guy's always had an offensive line, always had a running game, always had protection, and always had a coach who was smart enough to adapt their game to him. Mm-hmm. This is how you survive in the NFL. And this is the problem that I have with free agency and guys just going, "Hey, I'm taking, for example, this year, Tyreek Hill. I want more money. I'm going to go down to Miami. Tua fucking stinks. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. You're not going to be good. So now your career is going to be the guy who took the money." Yep. And this is what happens with quarterbacks. This is what happens with players. You take the money to go to a system that doesn't fit you instead of just being the guy where like, okay, I can get $60 million instead of $200, which I can still live off of plus endorsements. They don't look at it that way because they look at it as a business. But if some of these teams actually stayed together in the systems that they were, you wouldn't have, oh my God, this guy was on his way to be a Hall of Famer his first 3 years, and then he signs with Cleveland and absolutely sucks. It's just what happens in the NFL. You look at it as a business, which I love. I love the fact that, go get your money. Go do whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, you have to put yourself in a position that is going to benefit you, and sometimes the money's not worth it. Because if Tyreek Hill goes out this year and absolutely flat out sucks and is unhappy because Tua can't get him the ball and he's not the cheetah no more, what happens in his legacy? How do players look at you? And then they look back at this offseason and go, oh, shit, that $200 million we spent on a wide receiver who really didn't get us even to the playoffs, maybe that was dumb. And then the market tanks. It goes in droves, right? Ebbs and flows. It's just make sense of it when you're in free agency, and a lot of guys
not to jump out of the division, Rich, but like I'm wondering how the Rams have fucking money. Like where are they secretly stashing money?
In 10 years, they're going to be terrible, but they're going to have 3 Super Bowls in that time because all their contracts are going to be backloaded. That's all it is. It's what Howie does. But Howie does it with terrible players. The Rams are doing it with Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp.
Right.
Both number ones at their position. That's how it's football. The cap really doesn't mean shit because you can go, okay, yeah, I'm paying this guy $200 million over the next 5 years, but this year he's making $2.3 million. The next year he's making 50, then 70, then 10, and then it's like, all of his money's gone.
They arguably won the Super Bowl and then got better.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because they had the whole we don't care about draft picks, we have proven talent. A fantastic motto.
It is.
Yeah,
don't take the crapshoot. Speaking of crapshoot, let's talk about the Cowboys, Don.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Those fucking bums.
So the Cowboys, to me, their offseason didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Because Jerry Jones is a fucking idiot.
Correct. Which I don't understand, but I'm incredibly thankful for.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, because if he was a good owner, the Cowboys would actually be relevant.
Right, because if you look at the guys that they lost, Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson, at their skill positions.
Yep.
Right, they bring back Michael Gallup on a 5-year, $62 million deal. Right, but they also on the defense, they lose Randy Gregory. On the offensive line, they lose Connor Williams and Lyle Collins.
Gregory, that idiot, not DeMarcus. That's my bad.
DeMonte KZ goes to Pittsburgh.
They have no cornerbacks. They legit have 0 cornerbacks. They're going into the season just playing a bunch of linebackers and defensive linemen and saying, we're playing the bear defense all day. And it's like when your friends ran that against you in Madden, you're like, these fucking morons. They just like the name.
My God.
Like their defense is atrocious.
But they re-signed Van Der Esch.
Oh my, yeah! The guy with no neck. I love it. Him and Sean Lee. God, if they had necks and heads,
they're gonna get. He's probably hurt as we. Probably just got hurt as we speak.
He just bumped his head on his ceiling, and now his neck's compressed. Poor guy. Poor guy.
Oh, good.
And I liked him. I liked him coming out of college, but as soon as you go, you go to the Cowboys, you're the fucking worst player.
Right.
And the worst
and
person.
he had that medical history. Then they re-signed Schultz, the tight end, to well, they signed him to the franchise tag, but he's not having that. Happy. He's not happy. What else? Malik Hooker. They re-signed Malik Hooker. Dante Fowler, the DN/linebacker. Yeah, there you go. More defensive ends, no corners.
Yeah, a guy who couldn't hack it in Atlanta, like a guy who just came from Atlanta when he signed that big deal and was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what? And that's the thing that makes me laugh. Like, you look at how like seasons progress. Bradbury had one bad season last year because you could say he was probably checked out. Dante Fowler had like 3 bad seasons in a row. Got paid by Atlanta, which I'm going to count as his 3rd worst season. And then they go, okay, we're going to take this guy in the like, dude, how many fucking DMs do you need?
Right.
You're not going to be able to cover him. You're not going to be able to cover anybody. Malik Hooker, okay, shell of himself. Another guy who was good, but is kind of But who is covering Scary Terry? Who's covering Kenny Golladay? Sorry, it just makes me laugh. Kenny Golladay will just trip and fall and get hurt. So he'll cover himself.
James Bradbury's going to own him.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to see that. But then who's covering Devontae Smith, or is Micah Parsons going to be like their hybrid? Like, you going to have to play corner? Yeah. Like, what are they?
I mean,
what are they doing? I just don't understand it.
Like you're going to look at Trayvon Diggs on one side, but then on the other side, you're talking about
Mr. Inflation, I'm really not that good of a cornerback. Right. His metrics are fucking terrible.
Boomer bust, yeah.
His metrics, he was one of the worst cover corners last year.
Yeah.
In all of football. Yeah. But he had all those interceptions.
But
his touchdown to interception mark was still off.
If he doesn't get the pick, it's over. If he misses that pick, he's toast. He's toast.
And like,
he's done.
I mean, and the guys that are behind them, I really have never even heard of. I've never heard of Jordan Davis and Kelvin Jones, but those are our wide receivers, or there's cornerbacks 3 and 4. Like that to me says that if I'm playing the Cowboys, I'm going to get as many guys on the field as possible. Right, because I'm trying to expose. I might go 4 wide
matchups. Yeah,
5
trips,
4, 5 wide.
This is what happens when you sign Ezekiel Elliott to a huge deal.
Yeah, that money kicks in this year.
That money is just cha-ching, going up,
kicking in this year.
And you could probably argue that Tony Pollard should be getting more time.
He should. He's more explosive.
He's better. He's a better all-around back. He's healthier. He's more explosive, and he's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and he's so much cheaper.
Yep.
But this is and this is why bad organizations stay bad. This is why the Browns will always be shitbags.
He is a businessman, and that's it. All he cares about is Jerry's World, his big old jumbotron, and putting butts in the seats. I don't give a shit if we win. People are still going to show up.
You're going to pay $38 for standing room and $19 for a beer. And then I'm going to charge you $17,000 for electric next month. If I can do it, I'm Jerry. But that's how he's a piece of shit. He makes me laugh because he's
so far gone. They're so screwed because
he's so far removed.
Jerry and then Steven. Like, the only way it's going to change is if Jerry passes away. Not to be morbid, but he's never going to be out of the way. He's never going to be out of the way. And then it's going to be Steven, and it's like, okay, so is Steven going to have his like own set of ideas, or is he going to say, well, I want to, I'm going to, continue what my father started? And
is he going to be Mark Davis?
Yeah, exactly. If he is though, he's got to rock the bowl cut. He's got to rock that bowl.
Oh yeah, you have to. And if I don't see Stephen Jones rocking a bowl cut and a really shitbag suit for being a billionaire, I'm going to be really upset. Jason asked a good question. What do you think will happen with Dak? Dak's one of those guys, right, where you look at him and you immediately go, you're overhyped anyway. Like, you had the highest scoring offense in NFL history last year. You still didn't win a playoff game. So how good is your offense? How good is your quarterback? I think Dak is more of an Alex Smith type. Why I keep bringing up Alex Smith, because I look at him as one of the best in the past 10 years game managers. Dak is a great game manager. He doesn't have the arm strength. He makes some really bad throws. And even when he had CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Zeke, fucking Amari Cooper, and Gallup on the field last year, he wasn't really that spectacular to me. He's an overpaid, overhyped quarterback, but it's America's team. So he's going to be looked at as, okay, he's one of the top guys in the game when he's probably not even in the top 12.
Do you think Mike McCarthy holds him back?
I think Mike McCarthy is a boob. And I didn't like him when he was with that team he had in Green Bay. He should have won more Super Bowls, but he's also a know-it-all. Do I think Mike McCarthy? No, because I think Mike McCarthy answers to Jerry Jones. Yeah, Jerry Jones was
he's a puppet. Yeah, I mean, look at when Dallas did win. It was, Jimmy Johnson was the coach, Jerry was the owner, but they drafted like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Those guys, every position.
Jimmy coming from college goes, I know these players. I see college talent. I know this is the guy that we have to go after. Mike McCarthy is like just finagling because he's got Jerry's hand so far up his ass. He's just like, I don't know who that's the rings tickling me a little bit.
That's what you sign up for when you go there. Look at Bill Parcells.
And that's why Bill Parcells couldn't hack it.
He was like, screw you, dude.
Yeah,
do you want to win or not? Yeah.
I mean,
Jerry will live and die by this team, and this team will not be successful. It's Jerry's world, and everybody else in that area is living in. That's pretty much it.
And Joe, to speak to your point, like that one period of time was the only time where he had a coach that he kind of took a step back for. Right. Since then, since Jimmy Johnson left, the series of guys have literally just been guys that are filling the void of coach just so that they can have almost like a placeholder. Because at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is being influential on every decision, even on game days.
Yep. He's got to have his hand in the cookie jar and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And it winds up blowing up in their face.
That's how bad companies are run. We all worked for companies growing up. We might still work for them today. When you were micromanaged from the top and say your regional manager is constantly in your office telling you, okay, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. But it's like, no, but my manager tells me, no, I want you to do this, do this, do this, do this. You're going to get the frustration. You're going to get the unhappiness. You're going to get the terrible workers. You're going to get the constant reflux of people just being thrown in and out. And this is exactly what is going on in Dallas. It's what was going on with the Raiders. Mark Davis, I think, is a better owner than his father because he might actually listen to the football guys.
Yep.
You have to take these guys, these old school owners, these fucking rich white dudes who've been in charge since the 70s, 80s, they need to go because they don't know anything else besides money. When you can get a young ownership group who'll be like, hey, yeah, we want to make money, but we also want to bring people in for success and set us up for success for the future. Because there's nothing better than making money, but then having a successful product. And to me, Jerry just wants to make his money, like Joe, like you said. Jerry don't care. He's going to make his money. That place is going to sell out. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, Rich,
fans deserve better, and I hate the Cowboys. But when you look at an organization with that much history and that much pride, you cannot sit there and look at yourself being a Cowboys fan and be confident in what you see. Because it was like the Eagles 2 years ago. I was not confident in what I saw. I was not confident in that. And we're a proud, historic franchise. Yes, we only have one Super Bowl. But we are smart people who can sit around, talk on a show, and make sense. You didn't say anything, Joe. Don, you didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. That was not true in the broad span and the spectrum of the NFL. And this is coming from Eagles fans who are commenting on other teams. If you're not frustrated by what you see, there's something fucking wrong with you. Wake up, Dallas fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rich. There's a reason why they cheer for that team, because they follow that same mantra of just following the oh God, it's like the blind leading the blind.
Like the sheep following the sheep to slaughter. Like they just walk in and get their heads chopped off, and just I don't know why I'm here. Okay.
But Rich, like that owner, like to speak to all, like Jay was talking about, like the Good Old Boys Network and the fact that not having progressive ownership, like that money, that generational wealth is not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's got old money. It don't matter. He's got old money. Yeah. He doesn't have new money. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that thinking. He's got, if this team sucks, I still own half the power in Texas, and I own oil, and I own real estate. Fuck the Cowboys. I'm a billionaire regardless without them. They just make me more money. He don't give a shit. He's got his money.
Look no further, Rich, than that sale of the Broncos.
Yeah.
$4.5 billion.
They needed that, though.
Who bought that?
Broncos ownership was absolutely terrible.
They really did.
Who bought them?
It was called Donnell and something. It was a partnership group.
It was an ownership group.
Okay. Well,
Jason's saying Comcast.
That's crazy. The Broncos do have a heck of a.
Yes, it reminds him of the Flyers. Oh, Jason, shut up. Stop. Don't bring them up, buddy. I love you, man. Stop doing it to yourself, brother. Stop doing it.
Dallas is just going to do Dallas.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that, and Joe, to let everybody at home who's listening at home who can't see your shirt, right? It's the Eagles and whoever plays the Cowboys, right? And
buddy,
they're just living in that world where they're going to continue to talk themselves in circles, and think that they're making moves that are making themselves better. But if they're really sitting there being honest, there's no way that you can look at this team and say that they're better than they were last year. So to kind of circle back, how do you see this division playing out in terms of who finishes where?
Go ahead, Joe. You start, buddy.
You look at every team on paper. You look at the Eagles on paper, and it's how they play the games, how they gel as a team. Getting off to a hot start, finishing strong, but you can't deny that the Eagles should be the team to come out of this division. What the moves that they made, bringing in Hassan Reddick. On defense, you've got a legitimate pass rusher now. You still have Brandon Graham on the team. Hopefully he comes back healthy. You finally added a free agent linebacker. You drafted one of the best college linebackers in the draft, in the third round. If that man is healthy, if we get anything close to what he is as an absolute steal, you add a top 10 wide receiver through that trade with the Titans, big physical, going to go up for the catch. He's going to steal your lunch money. Look what he did. Look what he did in the playoffs last year. He was the only guy to show up in that playoff game for the Titans. True. And he said that when he came here, he's like, I'm not here for the regular season. I'm here to win postseason games.
Right.
And that's the mentality that we want on this team. Jalen Hurts, he's put the time in. He's a likable guy. He's a leader. He does have some shortcomings. Don't get me wrong, but for what he's doing for himself, to better himself and to better his team around him, you can't knock that. No. If he can come out and be even just a little bit better than last year, this team can win 11 games or more.
Yeah.
You know, they won 9 games last year with all of those question marks. They won 9 games last year. And look at all they added Bradbury on the other side of Slay. You know, you've got a better pass rush. You've got a better secondary. You know, the safeties are a little bit up in the air, but you've got 2 guys that can cover, and you should have, you know, a ferocious front 7. Add in Davis at defensive tackle. You know, this team, if the quarterback can just do his job and progress, we should win. We should win at least one playoff game. And if we don't, I think it's definitely a failure. We definitely came up short. But there's no reason why we can't come out, win this division, or at least get a wild card. But I still think, you know, Dallas is going to implode, and the sky's the limit for the Eagles. I mean, you stay healthy, you get hot at the right time. Your offensive line, your defensive line are firing on all cylinders when they need to, and the quarterback, you know, is standing strong and leading this team. It's got to be the Eagles.
I got it as the Eagles not making a clean sweep. They're going to give up one game. It'll probably be like, I don't know, I hate to say it, but probably Washington, just because we really don't play well there. I don't see the Birds. Me being the pessimist I am, I see the Birds being a playoff team, but I still think we're a year away. I think we're another solid draft away, whether that be getting another lockdown corner, getting a safety, getting another piece on the offense. I think what the Eagles are missing is, I love Miles Sanders, but we need a bruiser. And I miss the days of the big bruising running backs. I miss the LeGarrette Blount day, because he was a perfect fit to complement Ajayi, who was another flashy guy who was at that time really good in his career. I love what the Eagles did. I love them on both sides of the ball. I think their defense is going to be a touch better than last year with that pass rush. And now you have linebackers. Not even a touch. I think they're going to be miles ahead of what they are regardless, because they can do something with – they don't have to be a traditional 4-3. They can look at a hybrid look and have Kazir White be like the Malcolm Jenkins role, which I'm completely for, because I'm not really a fan of when they try to do the whole cover 2 or they want to play to the traditional 4-3 with the safeties, because their safety weren't good last year. But you didn't have anybody to fill that Malcolm Jenkins role, and that's why he was so pivotal. And in letting him walk, it really hurt, because you missed that guy who can cover, guy who can tackle.
Yeah.
Now insert Kazir White. Yes, it's, I think, a 1-year deal, but if that guy plays well, hey, you have a decent defense. Like, you can be a untraditional play to your strengths defense, which is something that is going to be hard for teams to plan for. You can go with different looks, which is going to be it's for me, it's enticing. I want to see it. I want to see the creativity. I want to see if Gannon is really the genius that everybody says he is. And it all comes down on the offensive side to Jalen Hurts. Can Jalen Hurts take that step forward? Right. Can he be – I don't even give a fuck if he can't throw a deep ball. But can he be accurate? Can he hit those tight windows? Can he hit guys on the run? Can he hit guys in stride? I don't care if he can't throw the ball 70 fucking yards from his knee. That doesn't impress me. Can you throw the ball into that window that your wide receiver can catch? Can you throw the ball 30 yards downfield and hit him in stride? That's all I care about. It comes down to, can Jalen take that next step to where it is the accuracy, the precision, the touch? Yeah. That's what I want to see.
The thing that's – go ahead, Don.
No, I mean, I think just to kind of wrap like this, when I look at this schedule, the schedule plays out in their favor.
It's an easy fucking schedule.
They're playing the AFC South. So they've got the Jaguars, the Colts, the Titans, and the Texans, right? You should easily win 3 out of those 4 games, right? Yeah. I think to say that double digits is not I think you're looking at a 10, 11, probably 11 win team, which
12 easy.
He almost went there.
12 easy.
Listen, when I did the schedule, Rich, the game that we talked about a couple weeks ago, that's the game, that Thursday night game against the Texans that
Texans are going to win because they're home.
And that's the game that I'm like
Thursday night football, baby.
But like,
it is what it is.
I think that the moves that they made, if everything plays out, the only hole that they have on defense right now is at safety.
Yep.
And I still don't know if they pull, like one of the like that Nelson signing last year where they signed somebody late, they add somebody, maybe somebody gets cut, maybe somebody's, I don't know.
We should have traded for that guy from Baltimore. Clark, was it Clark?
Yeah, what was Chuck? It's Chuck Clark or something.
Clark.
What was does anybody know what was there was there an offer on the table, or was it
I think they were in it, but it might have been too much. Like they didn't want to give up. I might have been like a third or some shit. Yeah, it wasn't something egregious, but they just weren't
Eagles. They didn't want to bite.
Yeah, they just didn't want to pull that trigger.
We could just put Rieger straight up.
Yeah, because then you trade Nakobe Dean for that guy. I'd rather have Dean.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, Joe, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to touch on the Eagles' offense. We brought in A.J. Brown, and he's going to be so dynamic in the passing game. But now you have arguably two number one receivers, and you still have an impeccable offensive line who loves to run the ball. So, that's going to open up play action passing. That's going to open up, okay, so if they're going to stack the box, we can hit them over the top. Or if they want to just, run nickel and dime coverage, we can hit them in the running game. So, Hurts really has absolutely everything at his disposal. You get a top tight end, top receivers, you get a top offensive line. It's real. The keys of the city are for him. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see if are they really sold on him? If he has a terrible year, if he has a really terrible year, he might not be here next year.
And he shouldn't be. He has, like you said, they gave him the keys. They gave him the keys to success. And if he doesn't do it this year, which I mean, not win a Super Bowl for all you guys out there.
They're set up.
That's not what we mean. We mean getting it done. Efficiency, people.
They're set up in case he isn't the guy.
Yeah.
They're also set up for a rookie,
exactly,
somebody drafted, or if they make another move in the offseason.
Agreed.
Well, gentlemen, final thoughts.
Joe, go. You take it, Joe.
Final thoughts. Football comes down to, the war of attrition, the battle of attrition. Who's healthiest at the keyest positions at the end of the season when it really counts. Like I said earlier, this team has to win. In my mind, it's make or break for them to win a playoff game this year. It has to be. It has to be with what they've done, the money they've spent, the guys that they've drafted. They're selling us on Hurts, how good he looks in OTAs. It's exciting. This team is going to be so much fun to watch if they can stay out of their own way and stay healthy. I think the only other team in the division, probably Dallas is our only real competition. I would think. But you got to jump on the Hurts train. You have to. You have to be excited to be an Eagles fan this year. This is arguably Howie's biggest off-season for free agency and the draft. He blew us out of the water with the draft and trading for A.J. Brown. I almost choked on my beer when I was watching the draft and they made that move. And my friend, God bless him, diehard Titans fan. Diehard. I tried to call him. I tried to text him. He wanted no part of me. Sent me to voicemail. Didn't talk to me for like 24 hours.
That hurts. Sucks.
But yeah, I can't wait, man. I bleed green. I'm 365 24/7. I can't wait. I wish we played What time is it? 9:30. It's probably too late for a late game. But I wish we played.
I wish we played at 9:32. I wish we played. I miss football.
I love it. I love it.
Don, go ahead, buddy.
Listen, Joe, just to touch on something real quick. Shout out to some people over at a group called Tillworks who I just got in the mail the AJ Brown. I got the Brown nameplate that I'm gonna take to one of my local establishments and remove the Wentz nameplate.
I did that.
The Brown nameplate on the back.
I love it.
I was praying that I was going to get an opportunity to recycle that. That was one of the first.
I'm doing the same thing.
Like super stitched jersey.
How much was it, Don?
What's that?
How much was the nameplate?
$25.
$25.
Oh, that's all. I'm literally going to go buy a $6 Carson Wentz jersey, and then get that done. That's fucking genius, Don. God damn you, Don. Don Conway, you smart motherfucker, you.
You did it. I started it.
I
started it, but you finished it, Don, because I'm doing the same thing. I had my jersey hanging upstairs with no name on the back because I took Wentz off.
Nice. There we go. For final thoughts, listen, I think it was the final thoughts when we were talking, Joe, on Saturday with the Phillies. Shout out to my co-host on the Drunk on Ice podcast, Jay.
Jay Dahl
had his mental health podcast, Hate to Feel, debuted last night. And Jay shared his story, which was, I'm sure, not an easy story to tell. And I learned a ton, not just a ton about him, but a ton about the battles and the struggles of someone that's going through what he's going through. So powerfully courageous for him to be in a position to be able to share his story and be able to use it as a platform to be able to open up that conversation for anybody who might be struggling with mental health. So Jay, huge shout out to you.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to more, hearing more about mental health and all the stuff that you're doing, brother.
That's great. Great job, Jay. Love you, brother.
Yeah. Great dude. Yeah. Great dude.
Awesome.
Love Jason. Love him.
The man.
He is.
Rich,
one of the nicest.
Close it out.
Oh, man. So I'm going to be really heated with you because I am super disappointed in the NFL. I'm super disappointed in the Texans organization. I'm super disappointed in Cleveland. I am so fucking embarrassed. And I don't like getting embarrassed for being a man, but for being fucking Deshaun Watson, that piece of shit that he is. And listen, innocent until proven guilty, fan-fucking-tastic. 66 women come forward and they say that you did something to them and you display that predatory behavior. There's something fucking wrong with you. You're sick. You're twisted. Yeah, you can go out and say, oh, my God, I have a sex addiction, which is probably going to come out and be said because there's always got to be some sort of – there has to be a label put on something for someone being a piece of shit human being. The fact that the Texans had signed the non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, the fact that they were basically in this with him, the fact that you displayed that level of predatory behavior towards women who are trying to start a business, you're sliding in their DMs. You're being that much of a creep. That is being called a predator. That is not somebody you should glorify. That is not somebody you should give $230 million guaranteed with a loophole if he gets suspended a year that he only gets $1 million fucking dollars. It's embarrassing. It's a terrible look for the NFL. It's a terrible look for that douchebag fucking McNair down in the Texans who already made his stupid fucking racist comments with the inmates run the fucking prison. Fuck you. Go to hell. I fucking hate you. Then you look at the Browns, those pieces of shit who knew that a verdict was not going to come out from the grand jury. They still sign that piece of shit. They still give guys like that a job. It makes me fucking sick. And I get so upset because if that was my wife, if that was my sister-in-law, if that was my sister who was being preyed on by that guy because they were trying to start a fucking masseuse business, they were trying to do something, and happy endings are part of massages. No, they're not. That is not part of massage therapy. I can tell you that. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can go and you can be Derek Jeter and just Do whatever you want, right? He got around. But there's ways of just being a player or a slut, a man whore, whatever. And then there's being a fucking predator. Right. And that's what Deshaun Watson is. He is a predator. You have Calvin Ridley, who is being suspended for placing $1,500 worth of bets 1 year. And the NFL can't even make a decision on Deshaun Watson yet because they're waiting for that. Oh, now they're blindsided by all this stuff with the Texans. This guy should not be in the NFL. The Texans should reap what they sow. Cleveland should reap what they sow. I wish you all the worst because you literally are feeding and embedding and rewarding a predator $230 million because he can throw a fucking football. If that's what humanity is coming down to, it's fucking embarrassing. And I'm sick of it. I don't like seeing these high-profile athletes getting rewarded for being shitty fucking human beings and for taking advantage of people because they have a higher profile or a higher social status. If we're living in that world, take me the fuck out of it. The NFL, you should be embarrassed. Cleveland, Texans, I wish you nothing but the worst. And I'm glad that we don't have that fucking jerk off on our team. I'm glad that Howie actually did the right thing and didn't go after him. I wish Jalen Hurts the best of luck. He is my quarterback, and I wish that piece of shit a lifetime of miserable because that's what he deserves. You do not prey on 66 women, and there's probably many, many more that have yet to come forward. You don't display that type of behavior, and you should respect women. You should respect yourself because if somebody were to put you in that situation, I guarantee you would feel like shit, and it makes me sick. It makes me – it's disgusting. It is so disgusting for somebody in his stature to do that, and then the NFL wants to spin it, and his lawyer wants to spin it like he's such a great guy. It's sickening. It's so gross. I don't know what more to say. And I'm sorry for bringing it down at the end, but that has been bothering me.
You had to let it out.
That's been bothering me for days. I'm like my skin's crawling. It's so gross.
Rich,
so
the thing that you said that just sickens me is like the fact that that the Browns knew all of that shit was happening. Right?
And they still took him. Yeah.
And they still took him and
gave him that stupid bullshit out.
They gave him that bullshit contract where if he got suspended, right, his annual salary for the first year is only a fucking $1 million. Yeah. Right. So
yeah, they knew.
They knew.
Right.
They knew. They're not fucking stupid, but they're scumbags. Yeah. It doesn't mean that they're smarter than everybody. It just means that they're willing to protect a predator, a serial predator, and bring him into a new city with a new start. That's what they're willing to do because they want to win so bad. And you know what happens when you sell your soul to the devil? You get fucking burned.
Rich, we can add the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson to the fuck you list.
Yeah, right? Fuck you, Deshaun Watson. Fuck you, Spike Eskin. Fuck you, Cleveland Browns. And as we say on this podcast, you stuck around, you fucked around, you found out.
We found out. Right? Oh my God! Listen, fellas, like you can go and check out our sponsors. Go to the link tree in our bio on Twitter. You can see you got Streaker Sports, you got La Terrain watches. You got Shocked Energy. Rich, next time we gotta try the samples. We forgot to try.
I know. I have it upstairs, and I'm like, should I do it tonight and then not be able to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning? Don, we'll have to do like a 7 o'clock show for that. So this way I can burn all the energy out. We'll do like a 2-hour show and then crash on the computer afterwards.
on your Chromebook.
Oh, my Chrome. I'm sorry, it's a Chromebook. A Chromebook. It was $4.99 at Best Buy. I got it on sale. I know why it was on sale.
Same.
I know why it was on sale because it can't do fucking anything. I can't even type a paper on this thing without it freezing. It's so ridiculous how bad this computer is. It's got less memory than my mom, and she has dementia.
Oh my God. Terrible.
Love you, Mom.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Love you, Mom. She won't remember I said it anyway, Joe. It's okay.
Oh God.
All right.
Oh man.
Just laughing.
Killing me.
Fuck everybody on our fuck you list. Have a great night. Have a great week.
Love you, Philly.
Peace out.